Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to some career mode goodness. Now I do want to say a huge thank you for all the support on the last video. It was really amazing. And again guys, as we used to do, I haven't done it for a while, if this video does hit 3,000 likes, we are going to upload the next episode of career mode sometime today if you guys are interested in that. But let's take a look. We have the transfer deadline day coming up soon, and transfer deadline day is always a little bit strange because although it seems like you have 10 advancements in one day, a lot of the time, they don't get back to you on the next advancement, or, once you get down to the final 2 or 3 hours, if you put in a bid for someone, chances of you getting it are almost like, it's so small, because if they even reject your contract offer once, they're going to go and tell you to do one. But I was actually really interested in the player Shabby Martinez. He plays for Bayern Munich, a center defensive mid, and as you guys know, I currently have Schoon playing as defensive mid alongside Marone, who I transferred from Juventus. Marone is actually doing pretty well. He's doing okay, but as you can see, Sergio Busquets there, I was gonna, take a look at him. He's quite a young defensive mid, and he's got a lot of potential in him, but unfortunately, his wages were just a little too much. De Rossi as well, very much the same, and I understand I could have adjusted the wage budget to accommodate for that sort of thing, but I don't really want to have too many people where I'm paying them 110,000 a week, because those are extremely large amounts of money to be paying out per week. So there were some huge shouts, some really big shouts for the likes of bringing back Suarez to Ajax, and that would have been fantastic. That would have been really cool, but I had to think about it, would he have fit in the play style, how much was he going for, that sort of thing. So you guys will see whether he decides to come back or who I decide to pick up in the striker position. But one player I've actually spoken about a few times is in fact Emenike, and Emenike is the sort of player that excels so very well in FIFA for the reason that he contains two of the biggest attributes that matter in FIFA. One is pace and two is strength, and he has abundance in both of those strengths, both of those sort of attributes in FIFA. So I took a look at him. I put in a bid for him. Why not? Just see what would happen. Same with Jackson Martinez. Jackson Martinez wasn't necessarily a player I was really wanting to get, but I decided why not put in a bid for around 8.5 million, see what would happen, and see what what I could get out of it. Now, Jack Wilshere here, he is one expensive center midfielder, and I was kind of like, I might as well put in a bid for him just to see what would happen. If they accepted that 24.5 million bid, then that would have just been golden. It really would have been, because he just becomes this monster on career mode. As you can see, Emenike was accepted, although I didn't want to go too far because there were still some other players on my mind, and although Emenike is a solid player, would he grow with the rest of the team to become this super giant Ajax team? So we'll have to wait and see. And again, there, Jackson Martinez, unfortunately I don't think they accepted the first bid, so they wanted a little bit more money, and I wasn't quite sure if I was willing to pitch that, fork out that extra money. But as you can see, Arsenal wanted 31 million for Jack Wilshere, and that was just a little bit too much out of my price range. Although I am looking for a defensive mid to play instead of Schoon. Jack Wilshere, he plays, I wouldn't even say he plays that defensive midfield role. If anything, he plays more of an attacking midfield role. So he would have been good, but for 31 million, I just can't justify paying that sort of price. So as you can see, I spent a lot of time looking at it, a lot of time thinking about, did I want to pay that 31 million? Would it be worth it? And at the end of it, I just came to a solid decision that it probably wasn't best, and the money could definitely be spent elsewhere. Another big thing about this particular transfer window is that I didn't want to spend all of my money, because when I come to the summer transfer window, I wanted a big beefy budget that I could go and spend a lot of money on. As you guys know, I might not even be at Ajax at the end of this season, because you guys, remember, you guys are the ones that get to decide what happens. As always, the Facebook link is in the description. If you change your mind whatsoever throughout this series, that you'd like to see me stay or you'd like to see me do something else, then just go over there and vote. But I decided, I can't even speak today, that Seydou Doumbia there got some fantastic stats on him. Definitely a player that I had my eye on. He is age 25, so he's not one of those super young guns, but he is a player that looks like he could fit into the squad. Another player I was looking at was Lars Bender. Ha ha ha, Bender, I'm gay, whatever. Yeah, awesome. So, you know, I put a bid in for Lars Bender there, and also I took a look at a few of these players, but you know, their wages were pretty high. Witzel, the Zenit player, he just looks amazing, and it would be great if I could pick him up, but the problem with a lot of these guys is, you know, I'm looking for a defensive midfield replacement, and a lot of these good players that I'm actually taking a look at are center midfielders that, you know, are very attacking and not so much defensive midfielders. And you know, a lot of the defensive midfielders I took a look at had just really quite crazy sort of wages that I didn't really want to spend. So it was one of those situations where I just didn't know what exactly I wanted. But it was transfer deadline day, epic mode engaged, and as you can see, we have 10 hours remaining on transfer deadline day. I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't give you 24 hours, because, you know, some people might not sleep through transfer deadline day. But as you can see, only one bid there was accepted, and that one was for Lars Bender. Unfortunately, my Doumbia bid was in fact denied. A lot of people were actually egging me on to buy Balotelli as well. Balotelli would have been a great purchase, but the thing is, you know, paying 20 odd million for him, that's a lot of money, and although he does progress very nicely, he might be someone that I look at during the summer. I don't think he's gonna fit too well at the moment with the, you know, with the sort of look of my squad. I already have someone like Rodrigo, and Rodrigo is gonna just fill into this monster of a player, and I can't wait to see how that all turns out. And I'm sure you guys are excited to see how he develops as well for your own career modes, so you can see if he's worth picking up. But as you guys can see, this Lars Bender contract, it came through, and you know, he had a pretty beefy wage budget, as a salary as well. He wanted 50,000 in a 4-year deal. He would have been a crucial, or an important, or a crucial first team player. As you can see, though, he was probably wanting a crucial first team player position, because he is coming from, you know, a relatively good squad over in the Bundesliga. But unfortunately, my Doumbia contract bid, you know, that one got accepted, so I sent in 55,000. But the big thing is, on transfer deadline day, you have got to be willing to pay more money than if you were outside of it, because they are so stingy when it comes to, you know, giving out, accepting offers and things like that on transfer deadline day. That's why I like to get a lot of my business done before transfer deadline day, because boy, does it get nerve-wracking on transfer deadline day. Now, one of the big things was, you know, what if Doumbia was never going to accept any of my bids? You know, I had to take a look at other options. I had to take a look quickly. So I took a look at Asaidi there. I also took a look at Sturridge. Unfortunately, Sturridge just recently moved to Liverpool, so he isn't ready to leave the club. Asaidi there as well. It was going to be really tough. Stefan Jovetic as well, another player I was very keen on signing, especially if that Doumbia deal didn't go through, because it was transfer deadline day. But these things have been left really late, and it was getting to the point, you know, was I even going to be able to sign a striker? And that would just be disastrous. As you can see, the wage budget, the budget split was really off. It was at 90-10. I've kind of rearranged it there. There's no need to have 300,000 in the wage budget, so I lowered it to about 150,000 now. Unfortunately, there, Doumbia again declining my contract. I was just like, F you, Doumbia. Why are you being so hard about it all? And I didn't know what the issue was. You know, he wanted 3 years, he wanted 45,000, but it was clear he wanted more than 45,000, because I'd offered him literally everything except more money. So I went there with my final offer. That was the last I was going to offer him, and there it is. Yes. Doumbia is now an Ajax player. I'm really excited to see that happen. Another thing that came through was Stefan Jovetic's bid, but he was already on humongous salaries, and the chances of him coming to Ajax were relatively small, and I just didn't have the money to pay for his 90,000 a week contract, and as expected, that was just going to be slapped in the face and told me to go and do one, and yeah, so that was very unlikely that was going to happen. Some last minute things, I was wanted to see if I could pick up this what do you call it, a Bundesliga player from Borussia Dortmund as a center mid, because we are looking to fill that defensive midfield spot. It's a little bit of a weakness. As you can see, it was accepted at the last minute, but unfortunately, like I said, if you leave these things to the last minute, transfer deadline day is going to cut you short, and that's exactly what happened. So I left it a little bit too late, but those sort of things just happen in life, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, contract offered was unfortunately declined, and that was expected. Finland offered me a job, but wasn't necessarily that interested at all. And that was it for today's episode, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you could leave a like, again, if it does hit 3,000, I can't wait to show you some of the gameplay of the new squad that I'm slowly building. Especially, I have a lot of money to burn when it comes around to the summertime. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But you guys seem to be pretty keen on me going elsewhere. And as always, vote on that Facebook poll down below. I hope you guys all have a cracking day. I'll see you